Carlos is finishing the roof right now. We're transitioning now into the trunk area. What I'm trying to do on full print, what I think is smart, especially if you're working with two people, is we're doing the roof, hood, and trunk first. This allows us to then break off into passenger and driver side if we don't bump up into each other. So again, really trying to don't create bottlenecks when you're wrapping, because you don't want to lose profit and time with installers just kind of standing around. So now we get to the trunk. Okay. Now for me, I think it's really important to see in sections and wrap in sections, not only based on what the car is giving you, but also in the design and the print. Talked earlier about it, the intro, about two-tone technique. Definitely going to use that on the trunk here. So for me, to wrap this trunk in one piece, you can do it. And I think good installers should be able to do this if you have to. But again, for me, don't always have to hit a home run. For me, I think it's just to wrap smart is key. So again, what are the sections here? Okay, for me, you have molding that went on here. Alberto took that off earlier, did a great job. So what we're going to do here in this case is, it's supposed to be, based on the layout, green on this face, purple on top. Okay, instead of trying to wrap that in one piece, we're going to wrap it in two pieces. Much easier, because to wrap this in one sheet, you're going to get a lot of tension here, and it tends to bottleneck right in the middle and at the top. So again, you're going to have a lot of overstretching here, some failure here, and it just takes a lot of time and energy. You can do it, but it just is one of those things where you can wrap smarter. And here's how we're going to do it. Is Carlos and I are now, we're going to run knifeless tape. Again, based on the transition here, this is where the molding ends. We're going to run knifeless tape about a 1/4 inch up, 1/4 inch below, and then on the transition between the top and bottom, we're going to run knifeless tape right there, all the way across. We're going to take green, we're going to prop open the door with a backdoor prop to kind of keep it away from the bumper, make it easier to wrap. We're going to swing the green around, get the green to this first line of knifeless tape, cut it away, section number 1. Then we're going to pick it up and tuck it into knifeless tape line number 2, and then do this, section number 2. We're going to feed it in here nice and easy. Again, if we do it in two pieces, no tension on these edges here, because it's basically super flat. Once we get this done, we cut away with knifeless tape here, line number 3. Once we get that cut, we run knifeless tape again, about 1/8 of an inch overlap here, and then come back with a purple piece. Why are we putting the purple on top of the green? Because now the line overlap faces below, visually it faces down, away from the viewer, so it blends more on the car, and it's more durable, so water doesn't build up on the edge. If the overlap was facing up, you'd have water build up in there, and that leads to potential durability issues. So again, we're mixing and matching, but we're still going to use triangles here. We're going to set it up here. The first panel we're going to lock in here, and then I'm going to pull this way, and Carlos is going to pull this way, which is going to make the corners flat, and then Carlos is going to pull this way and this way, which is going to be flat. So again, we're doing separating into 4 triangles. Once we do the top, we're going to do exactly the same. We're going to kind of lock it in here. Carlos is going to pull this way, I'm going to pull this way, and this whole thing is going to go flat. Very nice and easy. So we're going to, again, still wrap this exactly like the hood, but a little different because of the trunk, but it's basically the same. And that's the beauty of full print wraps, is you can really go same all the time and make everything nice and easy. So let's get to it.
First things first is, if you have a table with wheels with all your tools on it, bring it to the back section so you can just grab anything you need quickly. This just saves a lot of time. You don't have to run to your tool bag or to the work table in the back of your shop, for example. And I love to have all my tools right there on me, in my pants, and also on my tool belt, and also on that table there. So again, running 3 layers of knifeless tape right now. This is finish line. And finish line for me is very good on straight sections. Not a lot of, it doesn't really love tight curves, but again, this straight section here, what I like about it is that the string is strong and it never breaks. So again, with full print film, very straightforward. Don't need to have to get into design line there. Finish line is just very straightforward and rock steady in terms of that string not breaking. And now for here, again, this is a full print. It was divided beforehand by the designer, top and bottom. We got purple and green. So again, this cut here doesn't have to be exact. Carlos right now is just kind of separating the two. Again, I pop open the trunk, and again, this trunk area is always difficult because it gets so close to the bumper. So again, having the backdoor prop there makes a big difference. Here, once it's open, everything's been cleaned properly, degreased, all that kind of stuff at the edges. Carlos and I are going to go cowboy. So now the green is going to go on the upper section above the molding there and on that license plate area. So again, don't have to install it in 2 separate greeting pieces, because what we're going to do is we're going to install the top section and then bring it down to the bottom section. So we're going to pull off the backing paper. Carlos is going to hold his 4 corners. I'm going to hold my 4 corners. Backing paper always goes immediately underneath the vehicle. Clean workspace, also safe. Notice here, again, doing this on purpose, we set it at the bottom, we're focused at the bottom, and we go to squeegee, but I did this on purpose, is notice how we're short at the top. So do we leave it? Do we try to just do the bottom and then cut a patch from the bottom and put it on the top? No, we just pick it up and try it again. So again, we're going to pull in two separate triangles. I'm going to pull to my corners. Carlos is going to pull to his corner. And by doing that, we create immediate glass. But again, we're going to focus on the easiest part first. This top section is pretty much flat, moderate curves. The bottom area has a recessed area, and that I don't want to bridge and push in. I want to feed it in. So by doing the flat section first, we're going to be able to cut it away and then pick the material up and relax it into that recessed area at the bottom. So again, we quickly get glass, pull it away, and then we're going to release the knifeless tape. So again, I'm just kind of cutting the excess film so I can get close to the knifeless tape and start. I pull the string, hand it to Carlos. I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom. And notice how with the knifeless tape, we went along the area where the molding is going to go, or the emblem is going to go right there. So we didn't go straight across because we always want to come about an eighth or a quarter inch short of the molding. So again, in 3 years when the wrap comes off, we don't have to take off that molding, that chrome molding that's just above the license plate area. See that section right there? We're going to come up and peel that away. So again, no need to wrap under there because the molding is going to go there, the emblem. So again, now that we have this, technically this is a relief cut, the top section is done. We want to feed it into this recessed area. If we feed it in there, there's absolutely zero tension in there. So what's great about this is it's a very quick way to install this area, but also it means that we don't have to go back and post heat at the end of the job because since we didn't stretch it in there, no need to post heat it. Now what I want to show here is an incorrect way how to kind of approach this license plate area. So both Carlos and I are working just straight up into that top section here. And what you're going to notice here is, yes, we fed it in, there's no tension here, but what we're doing is by just working straight up from there, what you'll notice is the film will always want to bunch behind this top section here. And there's no way to avoid getting wrinkles here. Even if you just load it with heat, it's still just going to kind of bunch up and your quality goes down dramatically. So what I want to show is how to use the triangle technique here. So right when you get in this recessed area here, for example, is don't work straight up into the license plate area. We're going to use a triangle. Carlos is going to pull to his side and I'm going to pull to mine, and we're going to pull cold. And just by pulling at that 45-degree angle from either side, look at the difference of how it ends up at the top of the license plate. So not only am I started by pulling away, I squeegee away as well, and that shifts the tension of the material from bunching up in the middle to the flat sides at the upper side, left and right of the license plate area. And now look out. I just kind of pick it up, tack it in, super easy, and what's most important here is no heat. And if we don't use heat here, the green stays green. This happens a lot. If you're using full print, you kind of heat it and you pull, it tends to whiten. So again, what I love about doing this cold and using that triangle technique is the quality is there, also both in terms of aesthetics, but also long-term durability because we don't overstretch it. Now for this actual license plate area, it has a raised groove on the side. So I put my application glove on, a little bit of soap and water, and I want to form it into the top ridge. It's not a super steep recessed area, so I'm just going to form it in. The license plate covers almost this entire area, so I just want to get it in nice and clean. Once I form it to the bottom, I'm going to form it around there's 4 placements for the screws there on either side. I form it there nice and clean. And then this back section here, right there where I'm surrounding, is a really actually deep recessed area. Steep sides goes in, but again, the license plate is covering this. I think if I push it in there, I think it might fail over time. And granted, the license plate is there, your client might not see it, but if they happen to pick up the license plate and it's popping, I think that could be just look terrible. So I'd rather, what I'm doing now is I'm not cutting directly on the body, I'm letting the edge of my blade go along the side and cutting it out. It looks nice and professional and clean, plus it's very durable. Once this is all done, you want to release the knifeless tape then from this top section here. So again, not wrapping behind the molding. I can't emphasize this enough. There's no need to because the molding is going there. Wrapping just enough that it'll look green from any angle. But again, what I love about this is there's absolutely no tension on the sides at the bottom in that recessed area because it was fed in. And most importantly, in 3 years when the graphics are going to be removed, there's no need to take off that molding. So again, you're going to get the exact same quality if you wrap fully under, but this is actually quicker, cleaner, meaner, and it saves a lot of time on the back end. So again, angle my blade out so I get full coverage from the sides. Again, don't cut it flush, but angle the blade out. And especially with it open, you can get that full wraparound quality without having to wrap any farther than that. So again, perfect quality without over wrapping. Now, what's very important, you're going to run knifeless tape again, but because running a finger back and forth over the knifeless tape to seal it and set it up, that gets oil from your finger on the surface. So you always want to degrease it with alcohol. And then you're going to come back and run the knifeless tape here again and use the edge of the knifeless tape to match up with the edge that was just cut. And this will create about 1/8 of an inch overlap. And again, this is again finish line. Finish line is that nice strong string, so again, no worries about it snapping halfway through or even when you're starting. But then take your time to make this as super symmetrical. And again, what I like about this is just going cowboy. So Carlos and I are just gonna make sure that the purple's going in the right direction, so we flip it. And now we just pull the backing paper and go. And we're gonna pull with the same triangle technique that we did before. So just release the backing paper, everything's clean and mean. Backing paper goes underneath the car, pull it up at the top, and again, look how flat and easy this section is. The only little tricky section is that curve at the front, and again, it's moderate, but you still want to get it right. So what I do is I set up a hinge to lock it in, and then I pull with triangles. I pull nice and even and flat and create the glass. But before I go too far there, I want to get that round section at the front. So I'm going to pull straight down and over. So I'm pulled again towards my corner, and Carlos is going to pull towards his corner, and that instantly makes that moderate curve flat. So notice I do that first, and then I start to squeegee the top area. So again, very important to do that curve first and not last, because I want as minimal tension there as possible. Even though there's not going to be much, you don't want any at all. So notice how I just kind of squeegee away from my hinge. Carlos is doing his half. So again, I could do this by myself, but it's just always so nice to work with someone else because it just makes it quicker. Taking the backing paper off, setting up glass, doing all that kind of good stuff. And with it open, again, first thing you want to cut is the corner. Again, I set it up there, the Belgian corner technique, where I tick it, work towards the front here, and I'm going to angle my blade out, cut to the corner, then I go back and seal the deal. And notice I angle my blade out so you get full coverage here. Same thing here, I angle my blade as far away as possible, and now I'm cutting to the corner, which has already been cut before. Cut it nice and clean, and then I squeegee away from the corners so I avoid any type of wrinkles there. So again, wrinkle-free corners, wrap around, great quality. Then, same thing here, knifeless tape has been set up. Fold, hold the fold, and pull. Very straightforward. But it broke a little bit, so what do? Always leave excess on the other side. Flip it around. It didn't break, it just kind of folded on itself. Now I come from this side, pull it as flat as possible, 180 degrees. And again, just showing these examples where if you don't leave enough excess knifeless tape on either side, you box yourself in a corner, so always leave yourself enough. Now I go back and run a finger over the area where the knifeless tape was removed, just to make sure it's nice and sealed. But again, very clean finish there on that overlap, and what I love about it, absolutely zero tension. And one of my favorite comments during the install of this is Carlos, who's never installed a trunk in this style, looked at me and he's like, man, trunks are usually really hard, take a lot of energy. This just took us like 10-12 minutes, super easy, straightforward. He's like, man, that was easy. And he knows that there's no tension on any part of the edge. The quality's super high. So again, even just hearing his comment, and he didn't know what to expect. He just kind of went with the flow. Again, that just confirms how strongly I believe in this kind of two-tone technique, wrapping in section style for the trunk. It's quick, it's straightforward, it avoids tension in the key areas, which creates absolute long-term durability, and the quality is there. So you get best of all those worlds. Quality, durability, and efficiency. Plus, what I want to show here is that let's say you're wrapping this in one color, green on green. You don't have that two-tone technique where you got the purple on the green. That overlap will stand out if it's the two same colors. So what I'm showing here, just imagine if it's the same color, is coming back with mold and hold here. Again, this is a great product that looks like molding, factory molding on the car. And this really buffers that overlap. So again, I see a lot of installers using this product on these kind of areas where it just kind of frames it, makes it look part of the car, kind of grounds it, but also hides that overlap if it's the same color. Even if you don't, I think this actually looks good on this purple and green. So it kind of just makes it a little more part of the car, makes it look factory. And also what this does is it kind of overlaps the overlap, which creates extra durability. So again, two-toe technique, wrapping in sections, great stuff. Thanks for watching, Justin Pate.